Michael Cohen says Trump once said after meeting evangelical Christians, "Can you believe people believe that bulls?" Removed. I love how a 50-plus-year-old man can get pass after pass for having affairs, but a 14-year-old girl who gets pregnant must take all the responsibility for her actions. Trump has never been a Christian, and his only interest in Christianity is, of course, self-promotion. This will have been obvious to people who actually know the Bible. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Matthew 7:17-18 KJV. Trump's is all about posturing in public. I can't believe his base is so gullible and naive. I thought there were the ones that didn't believe in government, and here they are swallowing everything a government official says hook, line and sinker. From the article, President Donald Trump spoke condescendingly about evangelical Christians after holding a meeting with religious leaders before the 2016 election, his former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen has claimed in a new book. Cohen, who broke with Trump to cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller's Russian interference investigation, is releasing a memoir on Tuesday titled Disloyal, a memoir, the true story of the former personal attorney to President Donald J. Trump. The Washington Post, which obtained a copy of the book before it was published, reported one passage in which Cohen details what happened after Trump met with prominent evangelical leaders at Trump Tower in 2016 before winning the presidency. After the meeting was over, Cohen says Trump said, "Can you believe that bulls? Can you believe people believe that bulls?" He thinks his supporters are idiots. He's correct. Narrator, and they still voted for him with enthusiasm. Spoiler alert, most of the evangelicals don't actually believe that bullshit either. It's LARPing. Trump's veneer of Christianity is so token, so obviously false that it's stunning that any of them believe he actually gives a shit about them. He has never gone to church. He couldn't name one passage from the Bible he liked. He has said that he doesn't feel like he needs to ask God for forgiveness, which is pretty much the central value of Christianity. He doesn't act in any way like he values the teaching of Christ whatsoever. He's never, until 2015, tried to make anyone think of him as a Christian. Valuing money above everything is completely antithetical to everything Jesus stood for. In fact, pretty much everything Trump stands for or is associated with is exactly the opposite of everything Jesus taught. That Bible as a prop stunt was so pathetically transparent that even the dumbest person could see right through it, and yet they believe he's a good Christian man. Or, simultaneously, they believe that God sometimes works through flawed vessels, and therefore the worse a person Trump is, the more they've convinced themselves that God sent him. Funny enough, Obama, who was actually the good Christian family man they've always claimed to want, who attended church every week all his life, who cared about his status as a Christian and actually to at least some degree personally tried to live up to the values of Christ, who raised a wonderful family and has no personal scandals against him as a family man or a Christian, was the Antichrist to them, or at least some evil anti-Christian. This is what the religious right has, deliberately, done to this country. Their religion is not Christianity. It's the Republican Party. Something I can agree with him on. Well, Donny Boy knows his base well, bunch of suckers, to use his own words. Link with paywall removed. https://archive. is/qhzat. They just don't care. Trump could take a shit on a Bible live on OAN. Evangelicals care about abortion and rolling back LGBT legislation, that's it? They are the most un-Christ-like people on the planet. Of all things there might be a tape of, I hope there is a tape of him saying this. The mental gymnastics his supporters will exhibit would be interesting. Article was great until the end when it said Trump supported religious freedom. Maybe the journalist forgot about the Muslim ban. Evangelical Christians after reading this headline. Whoa, Trump is so smart, he is questioning our religion in ways no one would. Christianity is probably a hoax created by the Dems. Thank God for Trump. His feelings about people who serve in the armed forces isn't at all surprising. He doesn't understand even the concept of honor. His disdain for religious people is also understandable. Who but a bunch of losers and suckers would go to church on a Sunday when you could spend that time in a strip club? Finally, something me and Trump agree on. Did anyone honestly think Trump wasn't doing this? The only two people he doesn't talk shit about behind their backs is Ivanka and Putin. Honestly, that's fine, most relatable thing he's ever said. This is what really disappointed me about Trump the most. He shit-talked Bush and the Iraq War. It was clear he wasn't Christian. I never voted for him, but I thought we might see him bring about change in the Republican Party. Instead, he rehired Bolton and declared allegiance to the same evangelicals every other zealot or faker on the right is beholden to. Asterisk, for the most part, you can't respect people because most people aren't worthy of respect. Asterisk. Donald Trump, quoted by Michael D'Antonio in Never Enough, Introduction. In spite of this news, I still won't be voting for him this November. If it wasn't for the 1 million terrible things he's done and said, this one quote would make me think a little better of him. That has to be the smartest thing he's ever said. I was a former Trump voter. Voting for Biden in 2020 though. Here's the thing, I think most of his voters, more than anything, his voters like his unapologetic tone and are unhappy with some of the social policies that Democrats introduced or wanted to introduce. There's a wide range of other reasons too, but if I had to put my finger on it, this would be in the top 2 or 3 reasons why people choose him. When I say social policies, a lot of the stuff racial and transgendered stuff. Many of his followers don't like that stuff and don't get it. Most of his other policies, it wouldn't really matter where he stood as long as he stays true to being against the liberal agenda. I got to imagine most of his followers do think Trump is not a religious person at all. He couldn't name a verse in the Bible if you gave him $1 million, but by him pretending to be religious, it makes them feel at ease with voting for him. They don't want to accept that they are really voting for him though, because he's against the social justice issues, so this stuff serves as a convenient excuse. Really don't like it when he says something I agree with. HES an imperfect VEL/S. I'm pretty sure no politicians believe this nonsense, to be fair. He's the only one dumb enough to say it though. When 51% of the population stops believing, then 100% of our fearless leaders will as well. Just like they did with gay marriage, to evangelicals who are choosing Trump because he is pro-life and not pro-choice. You're just pro-birth. Pro-life means life in the womb and outside the womb. If you can't admit there's an oppressed people group, or be willing to have compassion on those who are poor, but side with the rich cause they wanna stop babies from being aborted. Got it twisted, dude. Aside from Trump, I think we are learning the truth about Christian evangelicals. They are frauds and Trump is nothing more than their vessel. Can you believe people believe Trump's bullshit? I actually agree with this one. God is fake and religion is dumb. Anyone with eyes and ears surprised? At this point it doesn't matter. Trump supporters are selfish, and the only thing that matters to them is their personal power and gratification. Trump supporters believe in patriarchy and the control that religion gives them. While they do not need to hold a religious faith themselves, this is often referred to as hypocrisy. They believe in paternalism and hereditary authority, and, like Trump, are perfectly willing to use religion in order to get what they want from the suckers and losers.